Almost every distribution of Linux comes with the Linux wireless tools. These tools have been around since the early days of Wi-Fi, and they are a set of user-space tools that talk to the drivers and allow us to configure the wireless card and also to retrieve certain information from them. For example, scanning results to scan the access points around the device. We're going to log in to our Kali Linux virtual machine and look at wireless tools for Linux, followed by the newer tools based on CFG 802.11. Typically, these Kali Linux virtual machines are configured with a password that's just the reverse of the root username, so TOOR. But you can change that if you like. We'll first open a terminal window and see what are the network interfaces. So at the moment, there's no wireless interface. Let me connect one wireless NIC, USB NIC, to my physical machine. It's a Mac, so VMware detects that I have done that, and it gives me the choice whether to connect that to Kali Linux or to connect it to my Mac. So I want to connect it to Kali Linux so that I can use it here. So that's what I'll click on. Alright, so now we see it. It didn't show immediately, but there we have it. Wireless LAN 0, WLAN 0. And we're ready to try wireless tools for Linux. Let's begin with iwconfig. We see WLAN 0. And the information given in the iwconfig output is not the same as what we get from the ifconfig. So we see things like IEEE 802.11, transmit power 20 dBm, encryption key off, power management off, various things like that that are not shown here. In certain distributions, I think in BSD, the Linux extensions for wireless are incorporated into the ifconfig display. So instead of having iwconfig, then you just type ifconfig and an enhanced version of ifconfig shows additional information. But anyway, in Kali Linux, this is what you might do, iwconfig. We can also try iwlist, and it shows that we need to provide an interface. So iwlist WLAN 0, and what do we want to do there? Typically, we want to do some scanning. And this is showing us various access points that are around. And we see things like the frequency. So like this access point is using channel 6, which is at 2.437 gigahertz with an ESS ID of Singtel-CFD5 and so on, with this MAC address. So we get these kinds of information just using the standard Linux tools without needing to even be using something like the AirCrack NG. I mean, we're not there yet. We're just looking at this wireless tools for Linux that comes with most distributions. Now in this example here, I'm logged into root. So if you just log into a user account, you might not be able to see as much information because some of these provide limited information except for the root user. Besides doing iwlist WLAN 0, scanning, followed by an optional ESSID, like we just did, we can see that there are other options for using iwlist. However, most of these are not very useful. We can try frequency. We can try channel. Gives you the same thing. It lists the different channels, which are the same as the frequencies. Let's go back to see what else there was. There's channel frequency, bit rate, rate, encryption keys, and so on. But many of these it's not able to show. So yeah, so you might see things like that. Event shows something. It shows the wireless events supported. But anyway, that's wireless tools. When we look at the newer IW command, we'll see that it supports more. It is able to show more information. So instead of using iwlist, you might want to use IW instead.